Thank you so much for joining us again tonight for our episode of Mixed Reviews. This is our 8th episode. Tonight we are going to be reviewing The Secret Sister Wives of Skinwalker Ranch. This is the mix over where Brandon has asked the sister wives who have recently come out open to the public as being polygamist. He's asked them to join gang at Skinwalker Ranch on the investigation. They felt that Cody and his wives could add something to the investigation simply because the Skinwalker Ranch is so steeped in polygamy history. Oh, but where are my manners? I'm jumping right into it without introducing us. I am your host, Leah Remembering, having a hard time with that one. And my co-host, Jerry Resolver. We have been tasked with the enormous task of watching a tremendous amount of television, not great television, and investigating their plots and divulging all the information that we have found out to you folks, you wonderful, lucky folks, who do not now have to watch the shows. See? We're great people. We take that you don't have. Tonight is a real big night, folks. As you can see, I have a lot to get through. Stacks and stacks and stacks. 6 stacks to be exact. So I'm going to be on a real heavy timer because so much has happened and will be needing to be discussed. As I was saying, Brandon has called upon the Browns to really be those people who can answer and speak to the polygamous history and the phenomenon that might be going on the ranch due to the history of polygamy on the ranch. So even though there is this long-standing feud between the lesser Mormons and the bigger Mormons, nevertheless, they have put aside their differences and they have come together for this very, very interesting series. So we open on the ranch. This is our mock-up of the ranch. We have exactly replicated from all that we have been able to glean from various sources this very good representation of the ranch. I'm not going to go over it all again. I feel like I've done that a lot. If you're new to the show, I apologize, but you're just going to have to go back and watch previous episodes. The ranch is a big place, and we sometimes get lost in the introductions. And like I've said, guys, we have so much to cover tonight. I just don't know how we're going to get to it all. So let's hurry and jump to the command center. The command center over here is where they watch a lot of film reenactments and so forth and so on. A lot of the people were there. Tom and Caleb was probably there. I don't know. Oh, guys, I'm just going to put that there. Like and subscribe. It's so important. It's so very important that you do that for us. Okay, here's Travis. I'm sure that he was there. Dragon was probably there. We'll go ahead and say Jim was there. I think that's probably all. I think Cody was in.
Well,
goodness. Cody was in with them. The wives weren't there that day. Whew. Okay, gotta get to it quick. So they're inside the command center and they are watching films of dead cows. Okay, that's all that happens there. Now we can take that down. Son of a gun. I got it. I beat the timer. I beat the timer on that one, guys. I beat the timer. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. We can just, okay. All right. So now, okay, here's a real plot twist, guys. No, you're never, ever gonna have seen this coming. I was ill prepared. We have acquired some new sets. They are still in construction. We have the pieces. We just have to put them together. We haven't had the time, guys. We've been so stinking busy. Ill prepared for this episode. I knew it was coming. And gosh darn it, wasn't ready. This episode, that was the only actual scene that takes place at the ranch. They're going to be in 3 different locations. And again, I really do apologize. I would love to say it's not like me to drop the ball like this, but I guess it is like me to drop the ball like this. Really do feel like I dropped the ball on this one. Big whoopsie. Like and subscribe anyway, though. Maybe I'll get more on the ball if you like and subscribe. I didn't have a set of Utah made as I wanted to, and you'll see why I wanted a set of Utah made pretty quickly. The rest of this episode takes place in 3 different locations. Salt Lake City. Go ahead and represent that over here because it's kind of at the top of the Utah. Lehigh, not quite in the middle, but we'll go ahead and put it kind of in the middle of Utah. Lehigh, for those of you who do not know, is a town known for polygamy. That is where the Browns live right now. Salt Lake City, also known for polygamy, historically speaking. That is currently where the lowercase Mormons are headquarters. I call them lowercase Mormons because they're kind of loosey-goosey about the rules. They don't really go with the polygamy thing. That's where they have their headquarters. Lehigh is closer to where the polygamists have their headquarters, but most of them headquartered down here in St. George area, down at the southern border. That's where a lot of the polygamists do headquarter. Our Browns, they happen to live here and a little bit here right now. We'll get into more of that as the story unfolds. They leave the ranch and go to the headquarters. A lot of people are there that you wouldn't expect to be there. Jim's there, Vesty Man. Cody is there. Cody is there. Dragon is there. Tom is certainly there. Eric is there, in fact. Travis is also there. Brandon.
Finally.
Because this is where Brandon lives, in Salt Lake headquarters. Candy didn't show up, but I'm thinking someone else did. Oh, it was the other PhD. This is going to be his last and final episode, guys. We bid him adieu and wish him better. We believe he's gone on to better because it couldn't get worse. This is, in fact, his last episode. Brandon has done, he's called around these men and he's purposely left out the women. Last time, at least he had a woman introduce them, but this time he has purposely left out Candy and the wives. This was, had to have a ding-a-ling to get in kind of a situation. He has his meeting with the boys, wants kind of a rundown of what has happened. Kind of a bit of a season closer for the boys. They don't like to stay on the ranch during the winter months. They're kind of snowflakey that way. Brandon is wanting kind of a rundown of what's happened so far on the ranch, struggling to come up with anything that's happened. And finally, Travis nearly jumps out of his seat. Okay, I've got something. It turns out that he had bone spurs and a ganglion cyst. Which one of his knuckles on?
Who knows?
Somewhere. On one of his hand knuckles. He believes it has something to do with the radiation well. And you know what? I hear when I say that now, it might sound like I'm saying whale, the animal that swims in the ocean. No, I'm saying whale. Like, well. See, I can't say it right because I'm Utah. Well, I can't do it. When we look down the well, where there was the water radiation poisoning that he thought he got, he thinks he got the ganglion cyst from that. Really, all that they had to report to Brandon was very frustrated with the low amount of reporting that went on. And so Cody jumps up and he says, look, I understand everybody's very disappointed in what has happened at the ranch. Okay, so now it's Cody is taking over the boardroom, much to the chagrin of Brandon. He doesn't like it when polygamy bully the little Mormons around, but they do have more clout in heavens. Cody takes over the boardroom and says, listen guys, been kind of failures at your game so far. Not really anything has been found out this season on the ranch except for a couple of mishaps here and there and a ganglion cyst, which is pretty atrocious. Cody says, look, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself, guys. I have a challenge for you. And he thinks it's like apprentice style. I've got these challenges for you. We're going to divide up into teams. So he divides them into teams. Says, okay, we have 3 different challenges. First challenge is someone has to plan Robin's birthday party. Second challenge is people have to go to Robin's birthday party.
Not easy.
Third and final challenge is you have to move Robin from St. George, her house in St. George, to my house in Lehigh. So they're like, okay, teams, 3 challenges. We're breaking up into 3 teams. And Cody's like, no, that would be wrong-headed because some of these challenges are not equal to the other challenges. So we're dividing into 2 teams, and each team is going to do their version of it. And we're going to see who does it best. We're competing. A lot is on the line, guys. It's your scientific reputations. Wow. So that gets them all perked up. And so Travis and the other PhD obviously have to be the team leads, right? So we divide into teams here. We've got this other PhD and we have Travis. And so Travis, since he is the faced person, he gets to go first. So he calls Dragon. He knows that Dragon is kind of a weeping willow at this point, but he also knows that Dragon is kind of a get some shoot done. He gets stuff done. Yes, also.
So if you want to be in good with Brandon.
Right. And the 2 judges obviously are going to be Brandon and Cody are the 2 judges. Okay, so we're out to
Top
impress
judge,
them.
Secondary.
Well, of course, yes. So now it's the other PhD's turn to pick, and he's not good at this. So he picks Jim. Now we're starting to see a little bit why maybe other PhD doesn't make it back to the second season. Travis chuckles about that. Brandon and Cody almost lose their mind thinking Jim certainly is the last choice. Everybody knows Jim is the absolute. Is there somebody else? Is there anybody?
Frodo Baggins.
So now it's Travis's turn again, and he, of course, picks Tom. Okay, bring him on over, hun. Red Rover, bring Tom right over. He picks Tom, and Eric, once again, picked last. He's having, horrible flashbacks, PTSD from childhood. He almost wants to just vomit in the corner, but reluctantly, he doesn't even get his name called. He just knows. He's done this walk of shame. Jim's laughing pretty good because it's usually Jim doing the walk of shame. Mm-hmm. But when you have both Eric and Jim, I mean, Travis ended up with a pretty good team, I think. But we'll let the judges be the judge of that. Okay, so quick, we cut to the next scene. We're now in Lehigh, and Cody is saying, okay, Cody's judging over it. So we'll just bring Robin over. So Robin is going to be the, what would you call it? The recipient of all the good things that happen. So all the goodness goes to Robin, while meanwhile, Christine and Janelle, well, Christine is kind of injured at this point with a baby. She's pregnant. She's 9 months pregnant. She does go to the doctor, but the doctor tells her that she can't really participate. And so Cody looks at these teams and says they're very lopsided. Mary, I think you're going to have to go with the other PhD, Eric and Jim. Otherwise, they just have no chance. And Janelle, you're going to go with the other boy. And so this rounds out our teams. Okay. So now the task is to throw Robin the best birthday party that anybody in the world has ever had. Ever. It's got to be magical. It has to be glowing in the dark with magic. And that's the only kind of advice that Cody, or direction that Cody gave. It just has to be magic, glowing in the dark with magic. So rather vague. These guys went with this whole glowing in the dark business, and they got glow sticks, and they thought that was going to be enough. Mario, on the other hand, over here, she's like, no, Robin's my bestie. We have to go get her some jewelry, and we need to make it spark. And so they went and they bought out a jewelry store, and so obviously they won. So that was that challenge. So these guys who we thought were going to be the losers were one ahead. Yay, losers! So then we cut to the next scene. The next challenge is to get everybody to party. And really, the only people that need to be gotten there are just the party planning committee and the judges. And, of course, Robin. So these guys think, oh, it's a no-brainer. We'll just go to the party and everybody's going to be there. We don't have to do anything.
Right.
Mary, on the other hand, she understands the little mind of Robin. She speaks birdie. And so Mary knows that Robin is going to do anything she can to be dramatical and to make a big scene and to then say, look, see, you guys ruined my birthday and I only have 1 a year. And Mary just didn't want to have to deal with that. So Mary actually kidnapped Robin and brought her to kicking and screaming to the party. And so they win again because they got her there. These guys were just showing up thinking that everybody would just show up and didn't realize that Robin actually had to be kidnapped and brought to her own party. So there we go. That was that scene. So Robin had a lovely party. There was a bucket of ice cream. I believe there was a cake. Two. There were 2 cakes. So, the glow sticks were kind of a bust, but the jewelry that they bedazzled Mistress Robin with, wow, that went a long way. She almost smiled. That is high praise for Robin. She almost smiled. I mean, gosh darn it, folks. Sometimes TV just takes your breath away, and that was one of those scenes. Okay, but we still have a lot of story to get to, guys, so I can't just be stopping over the Robin on almost smile, even though just absolutely, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Just okay, so, okay. All right, so now the next challenge, can you remember what the third and final challenge was? We need to move Robin and her prodigy from St. George all the way to Lehigh. Now, you might think that this would be a simple move because we have seen into Robin's living situation, and it is sparse. She lives a very sparse, very extremely sparse lifestyle. So, she has like 2 things in her cupboard in the kitchen, and she has some shelves in the living room that have nothing on them and never did and never would. A broken chair and a broken couch, a couple of mattresses on the floor. You getting my drift? She didn't have a whole lot of stuff to move. So once again, our Travis team. Travis is just a bad leader. I believe that he is just bad to the bone. So Travis, being the bad, poor planner that he is, thought, well, I've seen the inside of Robin's Spartan living area, so I don't think that this will be a very big deal. He didn't show up until like 2 p.m. on a move day. I mean, at least show up early to get the donut before they go. I mean, with some of these people around, those donuts aren't going to last long. But he doesn't even show up till 2 p.m. and hungover. I don't like to say it, but I believe he was very hungover, and the team suffered tremendously from the lack of leadership. They were just struggling. They were wandering about, not knowing what to do, not knowing where anything was. Meanwhile, Mary, she brought along the U-Haul and the boxes because she knew what we didn't know, that Robin had just shoved a bunch of stuff in closet, and it was just lying about, and she knew that they would have to go in and box everything up. I mean, it's not that much, but when nothing has been done, she knew that she would have to go in and do all the work. And she kind of set up almost like a military line. She was yelling orders, this and that. She was on top of it. My goodness, I was terrified. But wow, she did a wonderful job of getting her new competitor moved up and into her house. So once again, it was the team of the other FUD who prevailed, and remarkably so. I mean, there was just not even any real competition. These guys were just wandering around like a bunch of dumb babies, kind of like they do on the ranch. So Cody and Brandon had as they were all making the drive to Lehigh, Cody and Brandon were together in the Salt Lake office in the boardroom, talking like a bunch of Trumps, like they're on their Apprentice, and they said, Travis, he disappointed us this whole season. It's been a lot of nothing found. He's been suggesting some more and more outlandish things, and then today, the final straw, he shows up completely drunk on set, so unprofessional. And so now they can't help but think that maybe the reason that nothing really got done this season is because Brandon was drunk the entire time. Travis. Because Travis was drunk the entire time. Brandon would never. He's a very good Mormon. Anywho, so Brandon, being the very good Mormon he has very little tolerance for drinking and that kind of nonsense. So he starts to call Travis to say, "You're fired." When the other PhD, he knows he's won, by the way. He calls his agent to tell his agent all about the horrible season that he has had to endure on the ranch, followed by the last couple days of this competition that really trivializes his intellect and his status as a PhD. And he's sick of it, quite frankly. So he's calling his agent, and he's desperate to get out of there. And wouldn't you know it, he cuts a deal. Based on the results of this right here, he cuts a deal to be a game show host. And he's like, it's not using my degree, but neither is Skinwalker Ranch, so I'm out of here, guys. He calls up Brandon, and he says, "Brandon, yo, I quit." Now Brandon and Cody look at each other, and they're like, what the crap just happened? It It was very intense. There was a lot of nail biting. There was a lot of bickering back and forth, a lot of name calling, quite frankly. Brandon was very dismissive of Cody. Cody was even more dismissive of Brandon. The back and forth, though. But finally, Christine called him up, and she said that she'd been at the doctor, and the doctor said something about the baby having a change of heart. And Cody's like, well, we've had our own change of heart here. And he lays it out for her. And she's like, Cody, what the crap? I'm here 9 months pregnant, dealing with all of this, dealing with your moving in this jeans model, and I can't take it anymore. Just quit your crap and call up Travis and have him come back for the next season. I can't deal with this anymore. And she hangs up. She's furious. Brandon says, that lady has a lot of integrity and a lot of wisdom. And Cody and Brandon, it was real touching. They both start sobbing. I should let you know that men in the Mormon Church are trained to sob on command. So it's not a weird thing for them. They sob, they embrace each other, they bear each other's testimonies, and then they finally get on the phone with Travis, and they say, congratulations, Travis, you did not win the competition. However, you did win another year at the ranch. That's where they leave us. There is no cliffhanger other than now we have to know all off season that there will be another season coming. So I guess that in itself is a cliffhanger. But that's all. It was very sister wife centric. Well, very Robin centric.
Yes.
This time. But here you go, hon. We can't think of sister wives without thinking of Robin. Because she won't think of the sister wives. Anyway, that was that show. It was the season 1 finale for them. Our episodes run a little different than theirs. We're just going to continue on with our next episode will be episode whatever. But we're not just doing the seasons with them. So don't be concerned. Don't concern yourself with that. We might put a little description to let you know that this corresponds with season 2, episode 1. But we will just keep counting on because we are our own entity, distinct and individual from the Skinwalker Ranch and all of the shenanigans and phenomenons and anomalies that go on at the Skinwalker Ranch. So now it comes time to, I think we need to really rate the entire season on this one because this one is a closing episode. So it just feels right and natural to close it up with a final review, a final if we've given it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Now, I'm real torn here, guys, because I'd love nothing more than to give it a thumbs up because I want you to continue to watch our show. But I'm sorry, I have to give the entire series a big thumbs down because I think it's ridiculous and it embarrasses me to have to watch it, and it embarrasses me even more to have to talk about it. All right, over to you.
Brandon refuses to replace equipment. Everybody on the phone has a cracked screen on their phone.
He won't even pay a living wage.
Won't pay a living wage, so everybody is using, they bought their phones at the DI.
It's like the Goodwill, guys. It's the Goodwill. Mormon Goodwill.
So they all have broken
Mormons don't
phones.
have Goodwill. That's hilarious. That's a deep one. That's a thinker. Okay, go on.
So we have equipment that was bought at the DI. We don't replace phone screens.
Don't pay a living wage.
We don't represent the higher education community very well.
No.
We lie about government employment versus government grants.
Getting a government grant does not make you an employee of the government. It does make you a sponge off the government, but it does not make you an employee.
Yeah. Ask Brandon about his grants that he got to put those cows on the ranch. Anyway, I give the episode a...
Not just the episode, the entire season.
The entire season. Because this episode is a thumbs down for a season finale. That was episode 7. I don't know what they did this time. Whole season, big thumbs down. If you're going to mislead people, at least be as good as the Ancient Aliens guy.
There you have it, guys. We both hate this show, but we love making this our show, our mixed reviews, and we love having you to accompany us on the hate fest that we endeavor to go down. Please keep watching us. We'll be back for sure. All right, that's all the time we have for tonight. In fact, we did go a little bit over. Sorry about that, guys. I tried really hard, but we just had so much to get through. Okay, that's it. We'll talk to you later.